Unit 5 test. Part B. Audio 1.
I'm not sure whether it's an English thing or a village thing, but an obsession with how we are viewed by our neighbours dominates a large number of people's lives. Well, it certainly dominated mine growing up in a small town. Stephen Bartlett, my guest today, has some opinions on the topic of what the neighbours think and should we care. Stephen, hi.
Good morning. I'm interested, Lindsay, just how did the neighbours' views dominate your early years?
Well, I guess it wasn't so much that their opinions affected me particularly, but they affected my mother, and that's why I'm also wondering whether it's a generation thing. My mother cared obsessively about appearances and how the neighbours would view aspects of our lives. Like, for example, boyfriends that rolled up outside our house. Did they have a nice car? Were they clean-shaven, or did they look scruffy? Would the neighbours be impressed? The clothes I wore, were they smart? And did they reflect the fact that our family had enough money? The neighbours had to have the impression that we were financially well off, that the children went to a good school and were well brought up, and that all the family relationships were stable and the picture of happiness. My mother even put on makeup and dressed up to take the rubbish out.
And were your family financially stable and blissfully happy?
Goodness, no. My dad was a tradesman on a low salary and my mother worked part-time. We had barely enough to get by on, and my mum and I argued a lot, but very quietly so that the neighbours didn't hear.
And did it rub off on you?
Quite the opposite. If my mother could see me taking my own rubbish out in my dressing gown, she'd have a heart attack. I just don't care if I haven't washed my car for a while, or I've let the grass in the garden grow just that bit too high.
It's an interesting topic, isn't it? Perhaps your mother was extreme in her desire to keep up appearances, but to some extent, it's something nearly all of us are guilty of. And I'll pick up on why I say guilty in a moment. Many of us allow our lives to be guided or influenced by the opinions of others. How we are seen in the community is part of who we are, and there's a reason for this. It's a primordial instinct that we haven't outgrown. Historically, humans have lived in groups, and what our clan members thought of us could affect whether we survived or not. We needed to fit in. In today's modern society, community life has changed. We often live independently, and a reliance on the goodwill of neighbours has gone. We no longer need to care about our standing in the community because there isn't necessarily one. But people continue to do so. We respond to rumours or impressions we make the way our ancestors might have done 6,000 years ago. We are not in danger now, so why worry about what people think?
I see your point. I would say, however, that although I'm not as obsessive about it as my mother was, isn't it quite normal to be concerned that you may be the topic of a local conversation? That the neighbours might be gossiping about what you do, how you look, how much money you've got and so on behind your back?
Absolutely. It is normal for many people, but that's not to say it's right. It can be limiting. What I'd like to see is people moving beyond this. Maybe we should question the neighbours' intelligence. Why should their opinion of what we do, what moral choices we make, be worth considering? It's also human nature to want to be universally liked, and this is perhaps at the heart of modern concerns about what the neighbours think. And again, I would say that we have to be true to ourselves and not some imagined community judgment. And I say imagined because, much of the time, we don't actually know what others are saying about us, unless we're celebrities, of course. It might well be that they aren't gossiping, comparing, or giving a verdict on what you've done or not done and why.
So, perhaps my mother spent all that time and money on creating a facade that no one ever commented on or cared about.
Exactly.